What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with another review. And this particular review is on the Amazon Prime original, The Tomorrow Roar, starring Chris Pratt. Got J.K. Sims on there. Yo, is like J.K. Sims like contracted by Amazon? Because he's been killing it with Invincible, and if you haven't seen my review on Invincible, definitely check that out. Yeah, so this particular movie is about a family man that is drafted to fight in the future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. Oh man. Okay. This was very interesting, and I don't always watch movies, which is why there's not a lot of reviews. So kept on seeing this pop up, people, saying different things. Man, okay. I like originality, and not saying this is like something out the, blue, straight up new concept, but I like their concept on time travel. And make sure to check out my video about the Rick and Morty and the Genocider, because I talked about time travel in that as well. But what I really liked about this movie was their particular concept of travel, and as far as these wormholes in water. That particular thing, I was like, it made me really think. I personally really think that was a great look on time travel. Even the way that they talked about it, time moving, and the way that they were saying, the questions that they would ask, it's almost like a manga. Like, you have certain characters explaining and asking certain questions that the audience is wondering, like, well, could you just do that? And so the way that they explained it was really dope, which is they can only be in these particular moments. And what was even more interesting that I thought was clever was they got people who they died in the future, so it's just all like, I don't know at what point, like if there was like a 10-year, like if you were gonna die in the next 10 years, then we're gonna put you here. But that particular, who they picked the time travel was very, very interesting. One of the main things that I was waiting for was just like, all right, so what do they look like? And I was just all like, yo, these things have projectile freaking projectile stingers that, like, it didn't look like there was a limit to how many that could come out of them. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So you have their concept of time travel, alien, the depiction of this alien and the characteristics of this particular alien. And then as far as how they pick the people to time travel was very, very interesting. It's like, it seems like die within the future in this particular, time frame. Like almost like if you don't exist in the time, like they did a 30-year gap. So I thought that was interesting, and how it was like literally a year from now. I think it was in December. It starts off December 2022, yeah. And so I'm like, whoa, that joint is very, very interesting. A couple of highlights that I like before I get into some of the other stuff. I like the technology. Again, the wormhole technology, just where they were currently at, I thought that was very, very interesting. I like the characteristics of the alien. I like the time travel aspect of it. I thought it was a really dope twist to have that be and I knew that there was something up with her from the jump. I was just all there's something with that, So also, I thought it was super dope the way that they just came from the future. Like, it was like a soccer game, and then it was just like I was like, oh snap! Like, I just imagined, because it was so right. It was there was everything. The cool thing I liked about it as well was the sense of urgency. No matter what it is that they had planned, those plans can go out the window just like that. Just like that. Those plans can go straight up out the window because at first they had a particular time that they were supposed to head out. And then just like out of nowhere, it was just all like, yep, we gotta go. Something's being breached, we gotta go. And I'm like, dang, they didn't even. For one, the way that they arrived was just, super dope from the future. And it was just out of nowhere. And then also, the way that they just didn't even get a chance to really prepare. They was already in the midst of it. And then when they were falling down, I was like, yo, they didn't even fall like in the water. Like some of them did, but some of them like hit buildings. I was like, oh, snap. That joy was crazy. That, the twist with his daughter, that was really, really dope. And I also like, the fact that it just the way that the setup was it was just like, oh, you got to do stuff, underneath the military basically, and his dad was the only one that they did that, so that's set up for that. It was cool. It was like the card, and it was like, why does he want to talk to his dad? Then he gets put in this predicament where it's like then he has to go see his dad, and then he gets put in an even crazier predicament where his daughter basically told him that in the future he did what his dad basically did. And it would make sense if now that we know as far as what happened. Basically she knew like this was the thing, and but now I think she understood possibly why he did that, considering as far as like if everything kind of happened the way it was supposed to happen, and he came back, so he came back and he lived as far as his life, then ended up getting a divorce, then ended up then getting in a car accident, dying, and everything like that. So it's just all like he left, and it can be basically like, imagine if he came back and experienced everything. So he experienced his daughter and dying and fighting out as far as all these different things. And at first when he came back, it almost was like that, and then it was like his daughter kind of snapped him out of it. And then there was even more obstacles that ended up. So it was just a really cool way that they ended up setting it up. I like got a shout out to the black characters that were on there. They were super dope. Now, all right. So maybe if you see my reviews, you might see this coming. I didn't like that they had to be sacrifices in it. And why does like the super dope black characters, like, a dude had cancer? I was just all like, man, come on. You mean the only reason he's super dope is like because he only had 6 months to live, and then ironically he's a fail-safe at the end to explode, and then the other girl, she was super dope. Why she gotta die? I was just all like, man, but the other dude did survive, which made me think this is a first reaction review, so I've only seen it one time. But it makes me kind of think. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say it almost made me think that the little black boy that he was teaching was that dude, but he didn't come from the future. He was already in the present. But they were kind of like similar. And he was just like, I like this kid. I liked his character. I really did like at the end that he did survive, because that was really dope, because he had lost his wife. I mean, honestly, I like the fact that he found his own kind of like his own will to live, because think about how many of us in that particular circumstance, let's say that we, lost our significant other. Some people, they go into their own thing, but it was just all like he was I like his character. I think he was very real, and I think that he was very strong. Because it was just like he could have just went out and been like, what's the reason, for living, and I'm gonna go to go to with my wife or whatever. So I'm actually happy that he survived. So I'm glad that they did that. Any other gripes? I like to give like a holistic review. Like nothing's perfect. Man, really, I think that the only gripe that I had was that I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I kind of felt like I knew the people who were gonna die as far as like the people that they like introduced. I don't know if it was in the writing that they made it very obvious because it was just like the way that old big girl or big dude and that one woman, like the way that they were presented and things like that, it was just all like, they're gonna die. They're expendable. They're like, it's like they're almost trying too hard to make you like them, and then they get clapped up, and then the other dudes and then it seemed like this. I'm glad that they showed that Chris Pratt, like his military skill and as far as no man gets left behind type of thing, but you know, I don't know. Like the other dude was saying, he's just all like, "Yo, this is my third time. I've literally had to see my friends get eaten. Like that was kind of like literally a waste. Like, I guess you got to see how real it is, but that joy could have been avoided, type of thing. So I think that was interesting, just the way that certain characters you kind of like, I don't know, like I kind of felt like I do. Even with the other dude, like they made him like a focus point. Like he had the red, the dude was jacked up. He was just all like, yo, son, he's almost like and that kind of sucks as well that they got all this stuff going on and in the future and 30 years from now there's still not like a cure for cancer for that dude. Like damn. I thought that was interesting. I also thought it was very, very interesting as far as the twist that they was already here. That joint, I was just all like, oh man. Because they was explaining like, yo, hey, they didn't like come out the sky, there's ash, on here, all these different things, and then they're just all like, yo, they was already here. What? So to sit up there and find it, and then I thought that it was even more interesting because that opened, like me as a writer, I'm sitting up there like within that whole thing, I'm just all like, hold up. These aliens were transported by these aliens. But who were these aliens? And me as a writer, I'm just all like, yo, they set that up like really, really dope because then it's just all like, yo, why was they transporting it? Because old dude was just all like, it wasn't even on purpose that they probably crash landed on Earth. And then what's even more crazy is how technologically advanced that joint was, and no one knows in what period of time they actually crash landed. So it's just all like, dang, there's so much to be able to explore just within that scene. That whole situation at the end, where it was just all like, wait, who are these aliens? Because they're not the main aliens that they're dealing with in the future. And then they go and find them, and they're like in this thing where they're being freaking transported. And then on top of that, dude's just all like, they didn't even come here on purpose. They kind of like crash landed here, it seems like. And then it's like, whoa, hold up. Like, dang, that joke was so crazy. But anyways, this is like my first, look reaction review of it. I might go through it a couple of more times and do like a breakdown of it. If y'all want to see that, get the likes, hit that subscribe button, notification bells. Anyways, I thought it was actually a great movie. Like, I'm seeing the IMDb rating at 6.7 out of 10. Personally, I would give this movie, in the sense of originality, pacing, and inclusion, I would give this, honestly, I would give it a 7.9. What is y'all's rating? Do y'all think that's a fair rating, 7.9? I think 7.9 out of 10 is good for this. I personally like it. I'll definitely watch it again, see, what different things I missed or whatever. But anyways, this is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Make sure to check out my manga, The Most Random Manga Ever. It's a stoner manga style comic book, and there's 8 chapters that you can read, and you can pre-order chapters 1 through 11, which comes out August 8th. And then I have my book, A Psychological Thriller, Ideas of Illusion. So if you like things like this, where it's like futuristic and everything like that, but there's, definitely check out my book. It's nearing the 5-year anniversary next March, but link will be in the description. And if you want to see more reviews, first reaction reviews like this, then let me know of some other movies that, maybe similar, have some, more original concept, or some more time travel movies. Like I said, I'll leave the link to my Rick and Morty video, and, you can check out as far as that when it comes to talking about time travel. But other than that, peace.
Coming back to earth with a couple gems of wisdom that might take a few decades to decode. So I better get the work on. No need for second guessing, cause it was already written, or was it? Is it all predetermined or devised by your hand? No need for second guessing when you're sticking to the plan. No need for second guessing when you're sticking to the plan. Is it all predetermined or devised by your hand? No need for second guessing when you're sticking to the plan. No need for second guessing when you're sticking to the plan. Take control of what you can't control. Break out this handheld, hell made digital.